Hey, Chris House fans, we've got the Kyosho Madforce Kruiser VE version 2.0. Ugh. Well, that's a mouthful. That's about the only negative I see with this truck. Okay, as I said in the previous video, I don't get too gushy over 8 scale because personally, I think 10 scale is really it's the best bang for the buck. As far as value, as far as durability, stuff you could do to them, cost of upgrade parts, 10 scale's got it nailed. They really, really do. I just gotta turn this down. However, there are some few exceptions that I like that really work well. I'm gonna come right back to this in a second. The Terremoto 8 is a really cool truck. It's really based on an elaborated 110 scale, or you could say the 10 scale is based on a miniature-sized 8 scale, okay? I know that was a whole bunch of, riff-raff I just told you there. It's a traditional truck that I like. I like this truck more in its 10 scale variant, but the 8 scale version is really impressive. It's a cool truck. For $700 with batteries, we really like it. It's awesome. It's got nice big suspension, nice big nylon wheels, oversized tires, and the cost of ownership is cheap. Now, where Red Cat really wins in comparison, let's just say, to some of this other stuff, cost of ownership is the best. You smash this thing into a pole, and it's going to cost you $40 to fix. And I know I'm going to pick on the Revo guys and the Emax guys out there. I'm going to pick on you just for a second, and the Yeti XL, which we carry. When you smash these things, they cost you a lot, okay? And a lot of people are like, well, I crashed my Revo into a wall, it cost me $10. Well, you didn't crash it hard enough, okay? Because when we're talking a big serious impact where you can't drive away, a lot of these vehicles are going to cost you $100, $150 or so to get fixed up, where the Terremoto might only cost you $50. So let's go back to, for the same kind of situation. And I believe it's actually more durable than a lot of them out there. So the Kyosho is a whole different aspect, okay? So, this body is really... Okay, the body, for example, it actually has their name put right into the back of the bed. They get 10 out of 10 style points for this. The color is really cool. The decals are applied really nice. There's not a lot of air bubbles inside the decals. It's got these chrome kind of headlight bezels. And it actually has see-through windows. It's really cool. They did great. That's like that's a total win right there. Now let's start looking at the composition. Big words here at Chris's house. Composition. I thought the shock angles were really goofy, and it turns out that it is a friggin' awesome setup. Not a ton of travel, but as far as mechanically speaking, let's flip this bad boy over. Okay, first of all, it's nice to flip over and look at it. It's just friggin' cool. The steering, okay, I'm gonna pick on something I don't like right away. This steering is possibly the most over-complex thing I've seen in a long time. I don't like it, flat out. I think the steering it's cool. I understand the reasoning for it. It works. It's a solid axle truck. This is hard stuff to do, folks. Where a lot of people are like, oh, you put the servo up front. Well, I'm sure they tried that, and I don't think it worked. And solid axle trucks have a lot of different issues that let's just say a truck with a transmission would. Okay, that's dividing the power front to rear. Aluminum knuckles. Thank you, Kyosho. Aluminum knuckles in the rear. Double thank you. Isn't that nice? It's so thoughtful of them. They didn't just go, oh, let's put the aluminum in the front. Yeah, it looks like they're cast, basic stuff, but it's still going to be 20 times better than the stock plastic. Now, when I see all this plastic here, the size of this stuff is redonkulous. Like, here's an axial tube for comparison, okay? Look at that. Even the width, which I know a lot of guys are like, I want to make an axial monster truck. Well, that's good. Have fun marrying your cousin. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. Someone's going to see that and be like, marrying my cousin? What? Actually, I shouldn't say that at all, because the Wraith is actually going to be a really good monster truck platform, but it's still going to be a 10th scale monster truck. Anybody who's been around in this hobby a long time, knows that the big stuff was always, like, trucks like the Clodbuster, the Kyosho USA 1, those trucks were legends before they even, they were legendary when they rolled off the block, just like the SCX-10, just like the Wraith. which is funny because if you go back 20 years ago, all the really, really popular stuff, truck-wise, was all big. Now it's all kind of standardized, a little bit smaller, which I'm okay with. Okay, let's get back to the truck. These are frickin' huge trailing arms, and it's nice and soupy suspension, too. Like, I'm not really putting a lot of force on that. It's really buttery smooth. You get a chain-driven transmission here, too, which I think is pretty sick. As far as... Okay, let's go back over here. And these pumpkins are heavy duty, but they're not overbuilt. They're not too massive where it's going to get in the way. Because obviously they know... you know, the only way to get increased ground clearance on a solid axle truck, you could do like portal axles, like the G-Made R1s. It just gives it vertical lift through a geared output at the end, or you can go higher, taller tires. I think these tires strike the perfect balance of size and durability, and not too much centrifugal weight, not too much, because the bigger the wheel, you know, it puts a lot of outward pressure on everything else, right? The shocks are beautiful. I give the shock, I give the suspension. It would have been nice to see aluminum body, but it's not really necessary. You know, where a lot of guys might say, well, yeah, it is. It's not. You really don't have to have that. But that'd be kind of a cool upgrade to see maybe in the future. These little tabs here, now I understand that they try to make the parts front and rear centric. Now this might be for some kind of like sway bar mount. I'm not really sure, but these, I would cut these off right away. Just grind them down, just so one less thing to possibly catch on, okay? Not that you're going to go rock crawling, but hey. Battery trays are, you know, of course they have two small pins in there. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It's alright, just got to use pliers to pull them out. Battery trays are really easy to get to. Two pins, they pop down nice and simple. Mod 1 gearing on here, all steel gears. Easy pinion swap out, easy gear swap out, and if you look carefully, look, you can set it up with a dual motor. That's freaking cool. Not that you'd want to go dual brushless, but you could. The Orion, and like, it's old school tech. Like, it's kind of like got like a pillow block bearing style in there too. It's very, like, I'd be interested to see what the transmission looks like in here. If it's any, if there's any indication of build quality, it's going to be fantastic because the rest of the truck looks great. Orion speed control in there, and waterproof 2100 kilovolt motor, which is pretty much perfect combo for this truck. I like to see nice short wires, nice clean wires. You've got these knockoff Dean's ends. Just put better Dean's ends on them, everybody. You know, like, I don't know. That's a good way to save a buck. I wouldn't do it. Speed control wise, I don't know a lot about these guys. Is that got a removable lead? Or sorry, has. Oh, that's really cool. So this, you can actually take out the motor leads, which is really unique. So you can actually pop this right out, so if you want to switch it out or you damaged your harness, you could switch it out maybe to even other ends. It's kind of neat. I don't know why they do that, but I think it's pretty cool. I don't like the idea of speed control sitting sideways. I always like them up and down, but it is fan-cooled, so I don't think that's going to be an issue there. If I had a nickel for every time someone fried a speed control because it was upside down, you know, and that just bakes the board, well, you know, it's rises, right? So the wheelie bar, it's cool. It's on this like almost Delrin style plastic extension, and it has two wheels. That's cool. Holy, but it doesn't activate, sorry, it doesn't activate till it's really pretty much straight up and down, but that's okay. I imagine it might be adjustable, you can move it a little bit. Like, suspension mounts are really cool on this, like the way it's all done. They kind of kept it away from the chassis, you know, like it's a separate piece. Body mounts look nice and durable as well. You know, I'm reefing on these pretty good. And we don't have them in stock if I break them, so... and that leads me to another thing. A lot of guys are like, well, what do you have for Kyosho parts? Okay, nobody stocks Kyosho parts. And what I mean by that is, like, it's not a 21st century way of doing business anymore. And I wish I had more parts for you guys, you know, like Kyosho Tamiya. It's tough. I mean, if we had parts for every single kit we have, I mean, I need a 10,000 square foot facility. I need something massive, right? It can't be done at a proper level. That being said, we can get anything you need for this really quickly, really easily, without too much problem. Now, this truck here is going for about the $700 range, okay? Which is the same as the Terremoto, and I think this is worth every penny. I've seen a lot of different 8 scale. The only other one that I'm in love with, and we'll have it back in a couple of weeks. I know I said that a week ago, but anyways, is the Terminator Red Cat truck. And it's so cool. It's such a cool truck. This is more of a traditional, if you want the solid axle, big American style, Kyosho style. I think this truck's a 10 out of 10. No, I haven't driven it. I give a lot of my reviews and a lot of my, unveiling, whatever you want to call it, based on aesthetics and what we think is going to work. And it's tough. Especially in the winter, we don't have the time, and we just don't get demos anymore. It just doesn't happen. So someone complain and say, why don't you give Chris's house some demos? Because if they gave us some free trucks to go try out, and we return them or do whatever, pay at a discount rate, we'd love to give you more in-depth videos. It's just, it's not, again, goes back to having the 10,000 square foot facility with all the parts. Just not really doable nowadays, but you can watch some cool videos on KyoshoUSA.com or Kyosho.com and check it out. This truck is fantastic. I think you guys should come in, take a look, grab one. If you have any questions, need anything, please let us know. Give us a call, 905-393-6987. Have a great day, guys.